What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus package and infrastructure update, and daily news report for Monday, September 13th. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend, but let's get into the update for today. First off, we have a lot of stuff happening today. We have an interesting take on the stimulus check talks. I want to bring that to your attention. I think this is an incredible point of view from a different perspective, so I want to kind of address that. We're going to talk about why the Senate returns, what they are going to be doing, and the logjam that we have within Congress. We're also going to be talking about, them raising the debt limit, and so on and so forth. But the big thing is the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. We are finally seeing more and more finalized text from this bill. And a lot of these things, the big portion on taxes and paying for the $3.5 trillion bill, this was released last night. But I want to break down what is actually going on, okay? The majority of this bill was released today. So I want to address what we're seeing there. But let's first address the logjam that we're going to have within Congress. Well, we have the $3.5 trillion infrastructure package, which they're still going over. We also have that $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that is sitting on Nancy Pelosi's desk. We know Democrats, they want to get this reconciliation bill done as quickly as possible, but at the same time, they do not want to pass the $1.2 trillion bill until the reconciliation bill is done. So that's creating a lot of issues. We also have to deal with the government funding, which the government is funded until September 30th. Okay? At the end of this month. At the end of this month, the government would actually have no more funding. But that happens every single year. So they have to figure out something. Chances are we're going to see a stopgap bill, but we could see them actually put a bill together. Who knows? They need to address the debt ceiling. And on top of all of that, they now have to address the abortion rights. So that's what Congress will be working on this month. But here's what we know is happening right now. We had a huge breakthrough over the past 24 hours in this $3.5 trillion social infrastructure bill and how this is going to be paid for. One of the big breakthroughs actually happened with the corporate tax rate. This is huge, and this is also one of the reasons why, according to many experts, this is why the stock market was selling off this morning, because of the news that broke. The news, remember, the corporate tax rate, it is currently 21%. This is under the rate under former President Donald Trump and the Trump administration. Well, what we were going to see is President Biden push for 28%. However, then we had moderates like Senator Joe Manchin. Yeah, his name's popping back up again. He wanted to see only a 25% corporate tax rate. So you have 25% from Joe Manchin and moderates, and then we have 28% from President Biden. Well, what they did is they took the middle. Okay, went right down the middle to 26.5%. So the new rate is going to be 26.5%. This only applies though to companies that are making over $5 million, and for businesses that make less than $400,000 in income, they will get a reduced rate of only 18%, an 18% corporate tax rate. For businesses making between $400 and $5 million, they will actually see their rate stay the same at 21%. So that's actually very interesting how they came up with that. We also know that progressives are getting a huge win. This is a huge win for progressives. There will be, at least for now, there's going to be a 3% surtax on Americans that are earning more than $5 million. Okay? A 3% surtax. Now, this is what progressives wanted. If you are, you have, an abundance of wealth, well, we're gonna pretty much charge you. Well, we're looking at a 2% tax. Well, they agreed on 3%. We'll see what happens there and if this actually sticks, but this is a huge win for progressives because they say we need to reward people that work and not just wealth. We also know there's going to be $96 billion coming in from tobacco and nicotine sales. Capital gains is going to be stuck at 25%. This is actually pretty much a win for the American people and investors because President Biden, he was wanting about a 39% capital gains tax, or at least that was floated. Well, it is actually going to go from 20% currently up to 25%. So it's still more than everybody wants to pay, but it is better than what President Biden was proposing. We also know that Democrats are planning on spending $80 billion for the IRS to go after for tax enforcement and go after tax cheats. Well, we don't know exactly how much this is going to bring in, but according to what the White House is saying, they are expecting about $200 billion in additional revenue. Now, this could get some pushback from moderates. This is already getting some pushback, from some lawmakers, just because providing money to the IRS to go after people that are, not paying their fair share in taxes. Normally, this, you'd think, in theory, this would be okay. They're gonna go after people that are making, billions and millions of dollars. But according to experts, they say no. The majority of people that will be paying more because of this are going to be those that are lower and middle income earners, because they have an easier easier taxes to go through and audit. So that's not great news there. We also know this bill is we're actually gonna see about $2.9 trillion in new revenue coming in from all these different streams. But at the same time, the bill is still being pushed for $3.5 trillion. What you need to understand is that the remaining $600 billion it's actually coming from dynamic growth offsets by the White House. So here's something that I thought was interesting. According to a couple reports this morning, moderates believe that they could get the bill closer to $2.5 trillion. They really do. They believe that we can get it closer to $2.5 trillion and use the remaining $400 billion, not accounting the $600 billion from the dynamic growth offsets of the White House, but they believe they can use the other $400 billion to help fund the $1.2 trillion bill, which would essentially mean both bills are fully funded. And that, again, that doesn't include the dynamic offsets. So we'll see what happens there. But being that the U.S. government is currently running out of money, we don't have much longer. We don't have a lot of money. Okay, they say this would help greatly. Even Senator Clyburn, he suggests that the final price of this bill is going to be about $2.5 trillion. He states that we need more than $1.5 trillion. However, he does not believe that we need as much as $3.5 trillion. So chances are we're going to come meet in the middle. I've been saying this for the past couple weeks. I do believe it's going to be between $2.5 and $3 trillion. But Senator Bernie Sanders says it will not be less than $3 trillion because he would not support it. And we'll see what happens there. But here's something that I thought was very interesting regarding stimulus checks. And I thought this point of view was very eye-opening. But one congressional aide says that stimulus checks will not happen. They won't happen. And here's the reason why. It's not because the American people don't need it or couldn't use an additional stimulus check. Multiple aides agreed that yes, stimulus checks are needed by millions of Americans. However, the fallback from an additional stimulus check is greater than giving out a check. Here's what they mean. They are saying that the reason for not including a stimulus check is because the American people won't have anything to spend it on. Just think about that for a second. Without any additional information, just take that statement. That aides are saying, and my guess is this is coming from their whoever they're working for, whether it's a senator, and I don't know based off the reports, but whether it's a senator or representative, aides are saying the reason for not including a stimulus check for the American people is because they won't have anything to spend it on. Here's what they mean. What they are saying is that there's too many supply chain issues, workforce shortages, and lack of products on shelves in the stores. Just to give you an idea, here's what they mean. If there's less to buy in a store, okay, it's going to increase the amount of people that will go into that store, buy those products, and clear out the shelves. I can tell you right now, I walk into any grocery store and I can walk down the aisle and there are sections of the store that are bare. There's nothing there. Nothing. Now, what they're saying, if stores don't have anything to sell, they won't get customers, then they will have to lay off their employees. And so, a stimulus check could actually increase the amount of employees that have to be laid off, which means our unemployment rate would go up in certain industries other than manufacturing. So, whether it's retail, okay, it doesn't matter, hospitality, right? Other than manufacturing is going to be coming back very quickly. When manufacturing comes back, it's going to come back hard. The problem is, when does it come back? And it's not just all on the United States. And that's what they're saying is, if we provide more money to the American people, they will go and spend it on certain products. The demand for those products is going to be higher than the supply. Prices are going to go up. Inflation is going to go up. The American people are going to spend their money. We'll be right back here in the next few months. So that's one of the reasons why they're saying stimulus checks cannot be included. And this I thought was a very interesting take on stimulus checks. And I've been telling you guys from the beginning that I'm going to give you both the good, the bad. I'm going to show both sides of every story because there are two sides to every story. This is one. And this morning, economists say that that President Biden's plan this time of the $1.2 and $3.5 trillion infrastructure bills will be less inflationary than the previous $1.9 trillion stimulus package because these plans invest in building the economy's capacity. That's what they're saying. So again, it's an interesting take on why we shouldn't have a stimulus check. Again, I am all for a stimulus check. I think millions of Americans deserve it, need it, and should have it. Because what we're seeing is things are going to go up. Things are going to be more expensive. Rent is increasing. Rent is going up. And I addressed this yesterday as well, that we were seeing about a 3.3% increase on rents from 2017, 18, 19. Then we went up to 11.4% in 2020. I don't even know what's going to be for 2021. This is probably just as high. So who knows what's going to happen there. One thing I can tell you though is just in 2 days, is it in 2 days? I believe it's in 2 days. Yes, September 15th, we are going to get another child tax credit payment. This is good news there. So millions of Americans are going to get that $250 or $300 monthly child tax credit payment. That's just in 2 days. So this is going to help out a lot of people. Again, we're going to see a lot of stuff happening this week. Tomorrow we got the CPI data coming out. That's going to be insane. I don't know what's going to happen there. I know what's expected. But again, are we going to beat those numbers? I have no idea, but I promise I'll be on tomorrow morning to tell you, where we're at. Let's get into the COVID news for today. The U.S. plans to begin administering booster shots to all Americans starting next Monday on September 20th. However, the FDA advisory group is going to meet this Friday to discuss this data and whether it supports booster shots or not. So the White House and the Biden administration is pushing to get these booster shots ready to go, but the FDA hasn't even authorized it yet. So we'll see what happens there. Experts say we're already seeing workers quitting their jobs because they are now going to businesses that have less than 100 employees, which is creating a whole nother problem. And I'll address that in a second. But people are quitting their job. Let's say they work at a big, big company, big manufacturing plant, and it has 200 employees. Well, they will quit that job, go to a different manufacturing plant, which has 60, 70 employees, go there because the Biden administration's mandate is any employer with over 100 employees has to require a vaccine or weekly testing. Well, let's just go to a company that doesn't have that many employees. Simple, problem solved. Well, here's where things start to get very tricky. Well, when that company starts growing, we're getting more employees. Okay, great. We're going to get more orders. We're getting more business. Perfect. And then it's we're now at 106 employees. Well, all right, everybody got to go get the vaccine. We have over 100 employees. Okay, well, I guess I'll quit that job and I'll go over to this one. And that's what we're going to see. According to experts, we're going to see people just move from job to job to job as the business grows, as we get more employees and things like that. So again, it all has to do with the vaccine. In New York, just in New York, Okay, I believe it's like 60 miles away from Syracuse or something like that. There's a hospital that actually has to pause baby deliveries because of so many resignations. They are now understaffed and will not be able to perform this service there at that hospital after, I think, September 24th. So this isn't great. And this is something that we're seeing happening all across the nation. Many health experts worry that not requiring a vaccine would have caused harm, as people would actually get infected and pass away. But they say that requiring a vaccine is now causing other harm in areas where we should not be seeing any pain. So there's both, I guess, a good and a bad for providing or having to require a vaccine. But at the same time, there's both a good and a bad for not requiring it. It's just crazy where we're at right now in these times. But even Dr. Anthony Fauci, he was asked if he thought more mandates would be coming after what President Biden did with any employer having over 100 employees requiring a vaccine or doing weekly testing. And Dr. Fauci said yes, there will be many, many more mandates. And he went on to state, and I quote, "And I believe that's going to turn this around, because I don't think people are going to want to not go to work or not go to college or not go to university." So he believes that it's going to come down to, okay, people want to go to work and need to go to work, but, well, they have to get the vaccine to do so. Well, many people have been saying we shouldn't be able to require a vaccine to do anything. But at the same time, experts say, we have required vaccines to go to school for a while. I don't know the exact vaccines. It was like HEPA and I don't know. Okay, there's a bunch of vaccines that you need to take in order to go to school, and that children go and get the vaccines, and right, they go to school. And so that's one of the things that experts are saying, is that we've done this for years. Why stop now? Well, we'll see what happens there. But again, what I can tell you is there's a lot of stuff happening right now. This is going to be a very big week. This week and next week are going to be huge. I promise I'll be here to fill you in on all the updates. I may do 3 videos a day starting this week. I did 3 yesterday. I may do 3 today. It all depends on the information that comes out. So again, if there's a lot of information, a lot of stuff coming out, I will break up these videos so that they're not so long, all right? I know a lot of you guys have requested that, so I may just do that. So again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.